Ladies and gentlemen, I officially own the Holy Grail in my possession, and so in this video, I'm gonna go over that. So for a bit of backstory, I have a series called The Search for the Worst Cartoon where I try to find the worst cartoon ever made by covering all kinds of different bad cartoons, and something that I like to do for some of these shows is buy DVDs and Blu-rays and whatever for them, mainly just for the novelty of it, you know, why the hell not? I made a video very recently going over a few of these DVDs, and so in this video, we're going over another one of these DVDs. We're only going to be looking at one DVD in this video, but trust me when I say that this is a very special DVD that I think deserves its own video. So without any further ado, allow me to introduce you all to the Holy Grail, my prized possession, The Nutshack Season 1 on DVD. Yes, I own this thing. Honest to God, I own this. Now, The Nutshack was an obscure Filipino animated series. I believe it was like the first Filipino-American cartoon or something like that. I don't know. That ran for 2 seasons from 2007 to 2011. The show remained in general obscurity for a long time until 2016, where out of nowhere it became a massive meme online. People would be making memes talking about it and whatever. And subsequently as well, people would be making actual reviews of the show going over the quality of it. Throughout the summer of 2016, The Nutshack went from being this extremely obscure cartoon to being one of the most infamous bad cartoons ever made. One could argue the Room of cartoons. Now, I would love to go into detail about the history of The Nutshack and how it became a meme and whatever, but I want to save time, so I'm not going to do that at all. I made a review of The Nutshack back in 2023, long after the show's infamy, and it goes into much better detail as to how the show became a meme, and you could just check out that video if you want. I really don't feel like going over the history of the show and how it became a meme. I'd rather have all of the focus be on this extremely rare DVD that I own. This is a Season 1 DVD, as you can see. There was a Season 2 for The Nutshack as mentioned before, however it never got a home media release. This DVD came out sometime in 2008, and it is extremely rare. If you look up this DVD on eBay, you're gonna maybe find like a few listings. 1 or 2 listings will pop up from time to time, and almost always it's gonna be ridiculously expensive, this DVD. $100, $150, $200, I don't know, it's very expensive, okay? This thing is rare. I was able to get my hands on a copy of this DVD, and I'm making an entire video going over it because you know what? I don't think anyone has ever made a video on this thing. So allow me to be the one with the privilege of making a video on this extremely rare DVD. I am making this its own video because I don't want to lump this in with other garbage that is significantly easier to get in comparison. I feel like that would be a disservice. I would be devaluing this DVD by putting it alongside stuff that is nowhere near as rare or as valuable. And also because there is a lot for me to go over with this DVD, surprisingly. And also as well, this is the highest ranked cartoon on the Search for the Worst Cartoon ranking list, so, you know, the king deserves his own video, damn it. The king deserves its own video. So let's go over this DVD, shall we? Here it is. Here's the front cover of the DVD. Now, something that I do want to bring up is that there exists an alternate variant of this DVD with a different cover art. I do not own this version, obviously. This version is just as rare and expensive. And as far as I'm aware, this is the exact same DVD. It's just the packaging is different. The contents of the DVD itself are exactly the same, so I see no reason to go crazy over buying this other version. I will say though, the fusion of comedy, urban culture, and is indeed sick. I love the fact that there are no names attached to this quote. There are quotation marks around it, but there's no name attached to it. This is a typical review blurb that you would see in like a DVD normally, but like there's no credits attached to it. Who said this? I'm not gonna lie, I kinda wish I owned this version of the DVD just for this quote alone. Instead, I have this other version. Whatever, I'll take it. You know, it was only while recording this that I took note of the parental advisory explicit content sticker on the front cover. Only now do I realize how weird it is to see this on a DVD cover and not like on a CD or anything like that. I don't think I've ever seen this advisory on something that is not a CD, let alone a DVD for an obscure crappy cartoon. I find it to be a shame the fact that there is explicit content in this show though, because when I have kids, I planned on showing this to them, you know? You gotta raise them right. Who needs Bluey? Here's the spine for the DVD because I think you deserve to see its spine. You know, I really gotta show off as much of this DVD as I can, you know. This is the Holy Grail after all. Bask in its glory, baby. Bask in its glory. And then here's the back of the DVD box, in which I'm going to have to censor the bottom right corner because there is a fairly not safe for work image on it. There's a lot of stuff that I have to censor in this video, I'm sorry. Unfortunately, I don't have the anime quote on this DVD, but I do have two other quotes right here. The groundbreaking cartoon series is definitely crazy from Maxim magazine, and look out for these guys from Gabriel Iglesias, who is, as the DVD shows, a comedian. A fairly high-profile comedian at that, so holy crap, this thing is endorsed by someone pretty well known. That's surprising. Special features, you got deleted scenes, animatics, creator commentary, the making of feature, commercials, and character profiles. So there's quite a few things on here. And then over here you could see you have all of the episodes included, plus for more info, the Nutshack.net, which no longer exists. If you go onto it, nothing comes up. I remember back when the show was a meme, if you went onto this website, it would instead be like an Asian beauty website or something like that, like an Asian makeup website. I don't know what the hell it was, but it wasn't based on the cartoon. Obviously, thanks to the Wayback Machine, we can go back in time to 2007 and see what the Nutshack.net truly looked like. The Nutshack is the story of Phil, which is in quotation marks for some reason. Is his name Phil, or is his name not Phil? A troublesome Frisco native and his freshly imported Filipino cousin Jack, also in quotation marks for some reason. They find out they're not only related, but future roommates, all thanks to their womanizing uncle, Tito Dickman, baby. Set in the worst neighborhood of San Francisco, the Tenderloin District, these two learn about life, love, and diversity from all the wrong people. Why is diversity capitalized, but not life or love? Now that's weird. Guys, is the Nutshack DEI propaganda? Who could have seen that coming? Pimps, hoes, bums, talking monkeys, and trans. Yeah, I don't know if I can say this word. I'm pretty sure this word is a slur, actually. That's wonderful. That's a slur. That's a transphobic slur on the back of the Nutshack Season 1 DVD case. I mean, to be honest, this isn't really all that surprising to me. The Nutshack is the epitome of trashy, edgy, offensive 2000s culture. No duh, there would be a few poorly aged things in it. You know, just a few. Not a whole lot of poorly aged things. Only a few. Help school our boys and make this cartoon one of the freshest and funniest new animated shows to drop in a long time. Damn straight, baby. Here are the two discs in the set. As you can see, there's like this weird like sticker crap in the middle, around like the middle ring. I don't know what's up with that. I'm guessing this was like a library rental, this copy of the DVD that I own, which the idea of going to the library and renting the f***ing Nutshack on DVD is absolutely hilarious, I'm not gonna lie. I would remove these stickers, but nah, I'd rather preserve them. I don't want to risk damaging the discs, I'm sorry. So I pop in disc 1, and the first thing that I see is the typical anti-piracy screen. and then we cut to the show's logo, and then here we are. We're in the main menu just like that. You got play all, you got episode select, and you got special features. And while I was recording, I ended up finding an Easter egg, as you can see here. This is, I guess, a commercial ident for Mix TV, which was the network that the Nutshack aired on. I guess it was like Filipino MTV. That's probably what it is. I don't know. But again, we have play all, episode selection, and special features. And so we're gonna move on right now to episode selection. And here we are in the episode select menu. And I gotta be honest, I'm kind of impressed with the presentation of this DVD. This looks like a legit DVD. Like, there's a transition animation going from the main menu to the episode selection, which, you know, that's common for DVDs at the time to have. However, there is a reverse transition animation going from episode selection back to the main menu, which very rarely do you see a DVD do that. Most of the time, if I went back to the main menu, it would just cut to it. There would be no animation or anything like that. This is an incredibly small thing, I know, but I find it to be very impressive for the f***ing Nutshack Season 1 DVD of all things. So here we are on the special features. We have trailers, deleted scenes, and character bios. Now, because of copyright, I don't know how much of these I could be able to show off. I might have to blur some of this stuff. I think the only one of these that I'm gonna be able to show off in great detail are the character bios, which, believe me, there's a lot of stuff to unpack with those. But for the time being, we're gonna exclusively focus on the trailers and the deleted scenes. So let's take a look at the trailers, shall we? So here we are, the main menu for the trailers. Several different pre-release trailers for the show. I don't know if any of these are available on YouTube or not. I don't know if like any of this bonus stuff is on YouTube, but if it's not, I'll be sure to archive it. Unfortunately, because I don't want to risk any copyright issues, I do have to blur this, but I will say it feels really f***ing weird seeing the Nutshack on my TV screen, I gotta be honest. I said that previously with the first Search for the Worst Cartoon DVD collection video, but I feel like given the fact that this is the Nutshack, it feels extra cursed, but it's definitely worth it. And so at the end of this commercial, at the end of all of the trailers actually, there's this little image that pops up, and I think it just adds to the hilarity. Coming soon to Mix, channel 2067 on DirecTV, also available online soon at www.thenutshack.net. Call your cable or satellite TV provider and demand Mix today. Go to mix.tv for more info, which is not a defunct website, just so you know. Feed your music monster. Oh my god, it is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. I'm so glad I own this on DVD. Like, you have no idea, man. You have no idea. And so, moving on from that, we have the deleted scenes, which, again, I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to show off any of these. I'm not sure how many of them I can show off because, again, copyright issues, but, you know, I'm gonna show off the menu anyways, just because. And once again, I've gotta say, they cooked unironically with this menu design. Like, this actually looks really good. This looks like a legitimate, genuine DVD. I look at something like the Control-Alt-Delete DVD for comparison, and it has the most boring f***ing menu design I have ever seen in my life. It feels so low effort, which feels fitting for Control-Alt-Delete the animated series. And then meanwhile, we have the Nutshack. We have a similarly low effort cartoon, and it has a much higher quality menu. Like, there's transition animations, you could clearly see they're trying to like stylize the menus to be like urban and whatever, and it looks surprisingly really good. This is a surprisingly high quality DVD menu, I gotta be honest. They cooked with this. They had no reason to go hard with these DVD menus, but they did. Alright, so now we move on to the only bonus feature that I can really show off, those being the character bios. Select any character that you want to see, use the buttons to navigate the menus, blah blah blah, typical stuff. There are 12 characters to look at in this whole thing. There are 12 character bios to look at, and we're gonna be looking at every single f***ing one of them, baby. A large majority of this video is gonna be dedicated to these character bios, so I hope y'all are ready. Film a teabag. Get it, guys? Because his name sounds like Feel My Teabag. Teabag being a slang for nuts. Isn't that funny and hilarious, guys? In a nutshell, Phil is Phil, and Phil is an a-hole, but a fun-loving, caring, open-ended a-hole. If Cartman was Filipino, grown up, and lived in the ghetto, that's your boy. I don't like the fact that this references South Park. I don't know why. The idea of something like this referencing, like, what I perceive as being, like, a real, genuine cartoon creeps me out, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know why, it just does. Of the many doo-doo-like qualities he has, one good one, he can tell you how to get to the nearest liquor store from anywhere in the city. Interests and hobbies: snowboarding, 420, graffiti, Xbox, which is spelled with a hyphen for some reason, drinking, the OC, corn, Asian girls, and something no one knows. When Phil's alone, he likes to dance in front of the mirror naked to the Greatest American Hero theme song. Wait, is that a hobby? I don't know. Maybe this would be funny if I knew what the the Greatest American Hero was, much less its theme song. Aspirations: one day, Phil believes his ability to do nothing will someday land him 5 to 7 minutes of fame, which will translate into mo money, mo money, mo money. For reals, Phil wants to be a tester of either weed, movies, video games, or potato chips. And that's our main character right there, everyone. Jack, aka Jackson Calero. In a nutshell, Jack is what Americans in Kansas picture when they think of overweight FOBs. What people don't realize is that it's true. He's big, book smart, street. That's just straight up the R slur included on this DVD. Again, I'm not surprised the Nutshack has a slur on this DVD. That's not surprising in the slightest, but still. This DVD really is the gift that keeps on giving, isn't it? And not self-conscious. This equals embarrassing to be around in public. And his name means to goon in old school Pinoy hyphy talk, in which they misspell the other word that people use for gooning. Usually, the master part of the word is spelled with a U, and instead they spell it with an E. I really wish I could show this off, but unfortunately I don't want to risk getting this video demonetized, alright? This is a very censor heavy video, okay? There's a lot of gross stuff on this DVD, gross imagery, whatever. I am skating on thin ice by making this video, I really am. Interests and hobbies: pancakes, longanisa, which, while I was recording this, I thought this was either a typo of lasagna or a Filipino thing. I decided to look it up, and apparently this is a type of sausage that originates from Spain, and it's popular in Latin America, and you guessed it, the Philippines, so I guess it's the latter. Fat Brittany, Wayne Wonder, panty sniffing, and badminton. Jack's favorite hobby is agreeing with white people. Right? Aspirations: Jack wants to reinvent himself into a Filipino James Bond. He's a lover, he's a spy, he's a deep fry chef that can fart on command, Agent Triple XL with a license to skeet, and he wears a diaper to sleep. Very interesting stuff right here. Alright, so generally I consider the Nutshack to be a 99% peak cartoon, and you might be wondering why do I not consider it a 100% peak cartoon, and that's because of this one character right here. Horatio, also known as Horat. This is this weird monkey robot abomination thing that's in this show. Jack keeps him as a pet, and he has an incredibly annoying high-pitched voice. It's like, imagine like this, like Alvin and the Chipmunks sounding voice. It is insufferable to say the least. You know, I oftentimes think of the Nutshack as being a funny bad cartoon, and yeah, more often than not, it is funny bad. But then I look at this character and I get reminded, yeah, the Nutshack is not always a funny bad cartoon, unfortunately. Anyways, let's read his bio, shall we? In a nutshell, Horat hails from the jungles of the Philippines. He's a tarsier, which is like a mini monkey with big eyes and sticky fingers, and yes, this is a real animal that is native to the Philippines, if anyone is wondering. Jack found him close to death in the jungles and saved him with robot parts. Now he's an annoying talking monkey with endless capabilities. Keep listening, you'll understand him sooner or later. 13th warrior. Interests and hobbies. Horat likes to adapt, so currently his hobbies and interests are the same as Phil's, his new best friend. Before he became robotic, humping, grooming, eating, and pooping. Aspirations. Horat would one day like to have his own reality show. He feels if Flava Flav can pull it off, then he can as well. He wouldn't only try to bang Tarsiers, but all primates. All of them, son. Yo, I know hip-hop fans are gonna f***ing hate me for saying this, but I gotta admit this. When I was recording this, I didn't know who Flava Flav was, and I thought, oh, this was like some contemporary rapper from the late 2000s or something like that, you know? I hear the name Flava Flav and I think of like, I don't know, like, you know, bling era 2000s rap. I think of like that Laffy Taffy song. I think of like Soulja Boy, you know, that sort of thing. So shortly after recording, I decided to do a little bit of research as to who Flava Flav is. And as it turns out, he is one of the founding members of Public Enemy. You know, fight the power, it takes a nation of millions to hold us back, one of the most important groups in hip-hop history. Yeah, he's a part of Public Enemy. And cluelessly, I just assumed that he was some bling-era 2000s Soulja Boy-esque rapper. Yeah, I apologize for that, I'm sorry. Alright, finally we have arrived at the best character in the show, ironically and unironically. Tito Dickman, baby. Also known as Richard Cabeza, which is unironically kind of a funny joke, I'm not gonna lie. Cabeza is Spanish for head, and Richard, as we all know, can be shortened down to... Yeah, I think you see where I'm going with this. What the f***? There's an unironically funny joke in the Nutshack. I can't believe it, man. In a nutshell, Tito Dick was once famous. He was part of the very first boy bands called the Boyfriends. Yes, there is a word missing, as you can see here. This DVD is very high quality when it comes to its menu designs, but when it comes to its proofreading, yeah, there's a lot to be left desired. They were hugely popular in the 70s, but were disbanded when 4 of the 5 members were indicted, I don't know how to pronounce it, I'm sorry, for various inappropriate, not safe for work acts. Tito Dick was the 5th member. He was only busted for smuggling dolphins into the US. Now Tito is busy taking care of his nephews and their friends. When he's not doing that, he's making babies. Interests and hobbies, Xbox, which is again spelled with a hyphen for some reason, karaoke, yoga lattes, Charles Bronson, Toyota Tercels, and has a very scary fascination with Hilary Duff. Aspirations, Tito one day hopes to recapture his former fame. He wants to partner up with the likes of Snoop, Timbaland, and Journey, then release the first ultimate balladeer hip-hop karaoke album to hit #1. He also hopes to one day reunite or meet all of his kids. Now, as far as I'm aware, this whole thing of like, oh, Tito Dick was in a boy band, this is something that is in none of the actual episodes of the show. This is something that's from the DVD, something they made up for the character bios for this DVD. So what we have here is honest to god, genuine, unironic, previously undiscovered Nutshack lore. We got f***ing Nutshack lore before we got GTA 6. Holy crap, man. Holy crap. Okay, so this video is gonna get demonetized. That's f***ing wonderful. There is literally nothing that I can do about that, unfortunately. This is Cheetah, the Goonerbait character of the show. In a nutshell, Cheetah is a hot bartender with huge assets, a modern-day respectable S-word, which I have no idea what the DVD means by that, and to be honest, I'm not sure I want to know. Is this incel crap in my Nutshack DVD? She's an enabler. She'll serve you drinks with visual aids and pretend you're not looking at her. Breast milk is her favorite drink for babies. That way they don't grow up to be perverts. She loves babies. Interests and hobbies. Drama, emotions, ethics, morals, being a pain in the butt. Wait, those are her traits. Xbox, which once again is spelled with a hyphen for some reason. Is that a thing that people did back then? Did people spell Xbox with a hyphen back then? Nah, that can't be the case at all. The Xbox and the Xbox 360 both came out before the Nutshack, and you can very clearly see there's no hyphen. Why the hell did they put a hyphen on something that doesn't have a hyphen? Maybe it's because of copyright issues, I don't know. I doubt that's the reason, but I don't know what other possible reasons there could be. Alcohol, cigars, plastic surgery, and Filipino guys with heads too big for their body. Aspirations. Cheetah believes that by reading US Weekly, which could very easily be misinterpreted as saying Us Weekly because the S isn't capitalized. Watching The Daily Show and studying The Secrets, whatever that is, it's probably some shitty reality show from the time, I don't know. She can build a time machine and be a comedic version, comedic is capitalized for some reason, of a modern day Nostradamus. Yo, I gotta be real with y'all, okay? It's been nearly 10 years since this show became a meme. I think enough time has passed for me to admit this. Cheetah is unironically kind of a baddie, honestly. Like, I know, the Nutshack is a funny haha meme thing, one of the worst cartoons ever made, but like, hear me out, bro, hear me out. Imagine all of the artwork that we could have gotten of this character that we never got because of the quality of this show. Well, that and also the generally obscure nature of this show, but mostly its quality. I mean, then again though, Hell of a Boss is also a f***ing awful show, and yet Luna... Yeah, I think you see where I'm coming from with this. Let's move on, shall we? Let's move on. Okay, so we're entering risky territory with this one. A different kind of risky territory, but risky territory nonetheless. Cherry Pie, aka Joseph Got My Tan. Funny name. In a nutshell, Cherry Pie is a tall drink of Vietnamese coffee that'll make a grown man cry. This multi-talented beauty queen is smuggling raisins and a Portuguese sausage. Born Joseph Got My Tan, Cherry dominates the Vietnamese cross-dressing scene. One time she was mistaken by a police officer for a prostitute. She got mad and... I'm sorry, what now? Excuse me? I cannot read that. Holy f***, bro. I know we've already established the whole thing with the Nutshack is that it tries to be shocking and offensive, but like, Jesus Christ, man, I feel like this is kind of crossing a line. Interests and hobbies: beauty, Sailor Moon, NASCAR, and hair removal. Cherry also likes tattoos. She's got happy ending inked above her butt. I don't want to know what happy ending is. Aspirations: Cherry one day wants to be a full woman. Okay, I'm scared this is going into like transphobic territory, holy crap. She wants to have a monthly visitor, she likes wall-to-wall carpet, and she wants to make nighttime sea page, whatever that is. It's sex, it's gotta be something related to sex, alright? It's like very obscure slang for sex, probably. Maybe it's like a Filipino thing, I don't know. I'm not sure what else nighttime sea page could be. It has to be something related to sex. Also, she wants to open her own tapioca balls for drinking pleasure. Yeah, okay, let's move on, shall we? Let's just move on. Angel. In a nutshell, why is the name Angel only given to corn stars and tough Mexican dudes? Interests and hobbies: art, prison art, graffiti art, lowriders, customs, booby tattoo art. The name of a corn star. There's like a girl's name on here and I didn't know who this girl was, and lo and behold, she's a corn star, unsurprisingly. I genuinely have no idea if I can get demonetized for saying the name of a corn star, as stupid as that may sound, but I am not gonna take that risk. No siree, I am not. Booty art and Indian tacos. Aspirations: Angel wants to have a triple threat customizing shop, custom cars, inking tattoos, and graffiti art. He wants a triple threat girlfriend too. Big butt, into nipple art, and no teeth. Very interesting stuff right here. As you can clearly see, I'm kind of running out of things to say. Ed. In a nutshell, Ed is a stoner. He's only 17, but he's destroyed enough brain cells to pull off Alzheimer's. He's 17. This character is canonically 17. This character is canonically underage. You know how most anime fans pull out the bullcrap excuse of, she might look like she's 6 years old, but in reality she's a 4,000-year-old dragon vampire. Yeah, Ed over here is the complete opposite of that. This guy looks like he's in his in late 20s, early 30s, and he is canonically only 17 years old. Holy crap. This previously undocumented piece of Nutshack lore just raises even more questions. Throughout the show, Ed is shown hanging out with Angel, like the two of them are friends. Now, how old is Angel exactly? I mean, there's nothing about this character design that screams 17 years old, but there's also nothing about this character design that screams 17 years old or younger or whatever either. I don't know, maybe Angel is actually 12 years old. Who the knows? Never mind that, how old are the characters in the Nutshack generally? Tito, Dick, Dwayne, and Sanji are all on the older side. That's very obvious to see. In the first episode of the show, Phil and Jack visit a bar that Cheetah works at, so we can deduct that all three of these characters are at least 21. Why am I overanalyzing the f***ing Nutshack of all things? What am I doing with my life, man? His brain can only hold 2 to 3 thoughts at a time, so any new stuff coming in forces the old stuff out. So if he's peeing and he has to fart at the same time, his brain doesn't have enough memory left to remind him to keep standing. He's like a fainting goat. Interests and hobbies: getting faded, video games, TV, eating, groceries, pimping rides. Aspirations: eventually wants to be a contributor to High Times magazine. An excerpt from Ed's notebook. And it just ends off like that. I don't know if there's like a joke that I'm missing, but there you have it. Maybe the joke is that there's no excerpt, it's just complete silent. I don't know. This character is canonically underage, which I find insane. This guy looks like he's f***ing 31 years old and he's 17. What the hell, man? Dwayne Futon, the butt of jokes character on the show, the loser character who often gets made fun of on the show. In a nutshell, Dwayne is a 4th generation landlord. It's in his blood. It was either that or be a reoccurring character on To Catch a Predator. Uh-oh. Is this even more previously undiscovered Nutshack lore? Is Dwayne a nunce? Uh-oh. That's interesting to know. He was married once to a Filipina mail-order bride. They were madly in love, but citizenship was approved. Interests and hobbies: internet, karaoke, TV, ballroom dancing, golf, speed walking, and cornflakes. Dwayne is also learning Tagalog, the Philippine native tongue, but he goons every time he hears it spoken. Aspirations: wants to be Asian. After that, he wants to live in Chinatown and be a Caucasian whisperer. Alright, so as far as I'm aware, this character very rarely appears in the show. He appears in the first episode, and to my knowledge, this is one of the only episodes, if not the only episode of the show that he appears on. Maybe he appears in like another episode as well, but I don't know. He probably only appears in like 1 or 2 episodes. He very rarely appears on the show, okay? That's what I'm trying to get across. Why they decided to give him a bio page, I have no idea, but they did, and we're gonna read it. We're gonna learn all of the lore about this character who only appears in maybe 1 or 2 episodes of the show, and that's it. Manu. In a nutshell, Manu is the Booyah tribe of Hawaiian BBQ. This dude gets out of breath when he blinks. He also sounds like Darth Vader with asthma and has a voice pitch that makes Michael Jackson curious. But hey, don't mess with this brada or he put the poundin' on your head. Interests and hobbies: eating, sleeping, breathing. Aspirations: Manu wants to be able to swim to a reef cleaning station and have fish clean him inside and out. It's the kind, bruh. Damn straight. Alright, we're at the penultimate one. Here goes nothing. Sanji. In a nutshell, Sanji is a man of many smells, but you can't deny his beer and corn specials. He peddles his vices to the most selective taste and the nastiest from Indiana Joanna and the black hole of Mamu to the funky cold Medina. Hear me now and smell me laters. What? What does any of this mean? We start off with an Indiana Jones corn spoof name to whatever the the funky cold Medina is. Actually, scratch that. I don't want to know what it is. Sanji puts the smack down on all you haters. Interests and hobbies. Sanji is into successful dudes with big mustaches. Freddie Mercury, Tom Selleck, Rolly Fingers, and Gandhi. He's also working on a curry-flavored cigarette. Aspirations. Sanji wants to have a chain of his stores at every .com company, especially Oracle. And so, we move on to the final character bio. And once again, it is a character that very rarely appears on the show. Go figure. Willy. In a nutshell, Willy is a one of the... what the f***? Willy is a one of the Tenderloin's top 10 homeless characters. You know, it's been a while since we saw a funny error included within these bios. I'm so glad the final one decided to change that. And he's a SF fixture. Why? He's never lost a bum fight. He looked like Mad Max way before the movie ever came out, and the world is his toilet. Talking is overrated. Grumbling is the new wave. Interests and hobbies, recycling, tanning, self-love, traveling, and he's got one of the rawest MMA grappling games yet. Aspirations, to poop on the steps of City Hall again. And there you have it, folks, all 12 bios for the Nutshack's cast of characters. I spent an incredibly long time recording these. I spent a long time reading these. I had to censor a lot of different stuff from some of these bios, but ultimately I think it proved to be worth it. If you ever wanted to learn all about your favorite Nutshack characters, well, you just did. And there you have it, folks. That's disc 1 for you right there. Now, I would love to look at disc 2 as well, but I feel like this video has gone on for long enough, and I don't want this to come off as being very bloated or anything like that, so I think we'll save disc 2 for another video. I think we could all use a bit of a break from the previously undiscovered Nutshack lore, you know? We need to take some time to comprehend, some time to take in all of this recently discovered Nutshack lore. Nearly 10 years after the show became a meme, and nearly 20 years after the show itself came out. Where do the years go, man? Where do the years go? Anyways, that's about it. If you enjoyed this video, then be sure to like, and if you're new to the channel, maybe consider subscribing, as it would be greatly appreciated. Thank you everyone for watching this video, and I will see y'all next time. Adios.